Welcome everybody to 214 Square German parliamentary election, and it's February 15, 2024, 2025. And yes, right, we're just 8 days away from election day on February 23rd, on Sunday in a week. And well, let's first talk about what may affect the election. First of all, we had a debate between Chancellor Scholz, SPD, and his challenger Friedrich Merz of the CDU-CSU. And as you can imagine, they've been talking about immigration and the economy. Then, US Secretary of Defense Hexas said, okay, Europe must defend Ukraine and itself, and the occupied territories occupied by Russia are lost. The issues that it will tackle are foreign policy and national security. Then there was an attack in Munich. An Afghan refugee drove a car into a crowd of union members, so union for work unions, labor unions, and injured multiple people. These will affect immigration and national security. And then the last state of the polls. Remember, in this episode, we will talk about the forecast, and then after the election, we will talk about what the election outcome was. So, this is the last state of the polls, and here you can see there was a slight uptick for the CDU CSU and barely a movement for the AFD, while, well, SPD and Greens are, well, also barely moving, sometimes tackling each other, but yeah, no movement. But there's an uptick, a good uptick for the Linke or the left, while its challenger and spin off, the BSW, is now below 5%. Same for the FDP. Sometimes they are already touching the 5% threshold, but it's probably not enough. And now, the moment that we have been waiting for is here, the election forecast. Yes! Okay, first of all, this is what I will try to forecast: the share of mail in ballots by state. Then, the result of parties in total first and second votes on state and federal level. But I will not project the winners of the direct mandates. And then also the result of the parties and persons on federal and state level. I will not go through every single result. If you want to see something specific, please pause the video. So, and by the way, before I forget it, all forecasts have an error margin of plus and minus 3%. So, first, by the way, water sign you see here, this is just to prevent that anybody with bad intentions could say, okay, we have real results, and in reality, these are not real results. These are forecasts, and we just want to be careful. But yes, here we are. These are the mail-in ballots by state, and for Germany, Deutschland, if you don't know German. And well, here you can see what we have. The mail-in ballot rate or share is the highest in Bavaria or Bayern with 45.2%. And when we calculate the forecast, we um, didn't really work with the numbers from the last election because this was during the COVID pandemic. And this is something that we wanted to avoid. By the way, one of the lowest numbers, or the lowest number regarding mail-in ballots, is in Saxony-Anhalt or Sachsen-Anhalt with 20.3%. But no, let's move forward. Here are the party results. We start with the BSW, then we go to the Linke, FDP, the Greens, AFD, SPD, and then CDU, CSU. And here we are. This is the first half of the results for the BSW. On the left, you can see the first vote, or direct Stimmen, and on the second, you can see the Listenstimmen. And here we can already see the highest number of second votes for the BSW goes to them in Brandenburg with 8.4%, or 144,597 votes. And yes, I did um, forecast it is into this detail. We will see if I'm right, but this is my forecast so far. We also go to the other part of Germany, and here we can see that first votes, the direct Stimmen, are the highest than in Saxony or Sachsen, 64,223 votes or 2.3%. Again, because you can see Saxony has a high number of voters, but in Brandenburg, it's the highest for the BSW. And overall, here we predict, and you can see it, they are the highest in East Germany, that the first votes the BSW will get totally will be 0.9%, and second votes will be 2.1%. It just goes below 1.4 million second votes or Listenstimmen. And so far, we think, or I think, that the BSW will not make it into the parliament. Then we move on with the Linke. The Linke recently made a lot of progress. And in many polls, you have seen that they have been above the 5% threshold. And here you can see that in Saxony-Anhalt, the Linke would most likely get 18.1% of the first votes, or 239,457 votes, in comparison to the highest number of second votes in Berlin, 383,937 votes and 15.8%. It is possible that with the direct Stimmen or the direct mandate, the Linke will get some seats in parliament, but they will probably need 3 direct mandates if they want to make it into the Bundestag. If with the second votes they will not be crossing the 5% threshold. And here you can also see, well, high numbers in Saxony, high numbers in Thuringia or Thüringen, but in the West they are not that strong. Same with the second votes. And the Linker is a small party. So you can imagine that they get more second votes than first votes. And so we predict first votes, they will get almost 3.4 million votes, 6.1%, and over 3.2 million second votes, or 5%. It could be enough, but it's a rather thin result. And so I recommend to wait the whole day until you get the official result of the Bundeswahlleiterin. Then we move on to the FDP. The highest number of direct votes is something that we will expect in Hamburg, where we will have state elections in the next month. And there you can see 5.4%, 56,502 votes, first votes for the FDP. But they get the most second votes in Baden-Württemberg. Over 440,000 votes, 5.9%. But it will probably not be enough to make it into the Bundestag. We can see here, first votes almost 1.8 million, 3.2%. Second votes slightly above, around 2.35 million, 6 million, sorry, 3.7%. And very strong, we could say, in Baden-Württemberg and in the north, but not in East Germany. Then let's go to Bündnis 90, die Grünen, the Greens. Strong overall in Hamburg. Again, state elections next month. Over 250,000 votes, almost 260,000 votes. First votes in Hamburg, 20.5%. Above 282,000 votes. Second votes and 22.3%. But they will be weak in the east, and we will see this here. There you can see it. Well, the east is not very green, but you can see it in North Rhine-Westphalia. You can see it in Lower Saxony, Schleswig-Holstein, Bremen, Hamburg, Berlin, and also in Baden-Württemberg. And this means that there will be over 7.56 million first votes for the Green Party, 13.6%. Second votes, there will be almost 8.2 million, and this means 12.8% second votes for the Greens. Now AFD, you can see that there will be, in many cases, there will be above at least 10%. In some cases, you will see them above 20 and 30%. But they will be the strongest in Saxony. Saxony, more than 760,000 votes, 27.4% for the first votes. And for the second votes, you can see almost 960,000 votes, 34.5%. And they are also very strong in Thuringia on the second vote, 33.3%. But, as I already said, they are strong in the east, but not in the rest of Germany. The east is very blue, except of Berlin, and this means that we expect 13.8% of the first votes will go to the AfD, the Alternative for Germany, Alternative for Deutschland, over 7.68 million first votes and over 9.91 million second votes, 15.5%. Then SPD. There we expect that there will be 30% for the SPD in Lower Saxony, home of Oscar Pistorius, Boris Pistorius, I beg your pardon, Boris Pistorius, the defense minister, very popular in Germany. And this means at least 1.541 million first votes for the SPD in Lower Saxony. And they will be the strongest with the second votes in Saarland. And this means, in other words, 26% or 171.743 million, not million, again, 171,000 votes, or 172, and 26%. Overall, the SPD will most likely get almost 11,120,000 votes, first votes, or 20%, and 15% of the second votes, or above 9,570,000 votes. And you can also see it here on the map that the SPD is strong in parts of the east, it's strong in the west, but it's not strong in the southeast, it's not strong in the south. And now we will go to the CDU-CSU. And here you can see, well, everywhere except from Hamburg, they are above 20% with the first votes, and in many cases, they are above the second votes with 20%. But we can see what they are strongest, and this is with the first votes in Hessen, or Hessen, with pardon, with almost 1.75 million votes of the first votes, pardon, and over or almost 3.57 million votes of the second votes, 38.5%. But you can see that the CDU-CSU is indeed very strong, but not where you expect it in Bavaria. In Bavaria, you have the CSU. Bavaria is CSU county, or country, if you want to pronounce it like that. But at the moment, the CDU is strong in Hessen. So, and what does it mean in the end? First votes, direct stimmen. CDU, CSU would get almost 20.3 million direct votes or first votes. In other words, 36.5%. Second votes, you can see 7,558,000 votes, 27.5%. And here you can see that the CDU-CSU is particularly strong in the south parts of the west and then in Schleswig-Holstein, but not really in the east, not really in the big cities. But this is what we forecast. And this means that overall result, you can see it here, based on the first votes, well, the CDU-CSU will win. It will win back big. The CDUs, sorry, the SPD will lose, but not as much as the FDP. If you compare it to the previous result, the Greens will lose slightly, but the Linke is likely to win a bit in comparison to the previous result. And also a winner of this evening will be the AFD, 13.8% in comparison to 10.1. And new in the race and may be also the last race. We will see how things will develop. Is the BSW, and they will not gain big. And then overall results for the second votes, you can also see some percentages going up for the CDU CSU, but they will not take it from solely from the SPD. But you can see the SPD is losing. They are not exactly, but almost halving. But really, more than halving is the FDP. Also losing is the other Ampel coalition partner, the Greens. And again, winning is Die Linke, now with 5%, probably touching the 5% threshold. But one of the biggest winners here is the AFD, more than 5%. And then we have again the BSW, the Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, 2.1%. And this is not enough for the Bundestag. The possible seat allocation is that we can see here if we are correct based on the second votes that the SPD will get 21.2% in the Bundestag, 38.8% for the Union, 18.1% for the Greens, 21.9%, and thus the probably the largest opposition party, the AFD, and 7.1% for the Linke. And this means the projected winner is most likely Friedrich Merz of the CDU-CSU, and thus most likely the next federal chancellor of Germany. But, am I right? We will see after the election, and then we will review the results. So, on the election weekend, we have no episode, but on March 1st or 2nd, we will have an election analysis. And then I ask you for a favor. First of all, please go and vote if you are eligible to vote in this election. Make use of your right to elect the representative you like or the party that you agree on. Totally or not, but you have the choice. Even if you're not interested in politics. But the policies politicians agree on will affect you. And regardless where you are, even if it's in front of or outside the polling station, not state, I beg your pardon, no matter what you believe in, be respectful to your people, even if they have a totally different opinion. Be respectful so that you can also demand that you will be treated respectful or with respect. Then, even if social media and influencers may be your favorite source of information and they may be entertaining, but in many cases, they're not following the standards journalists do. And so please make sure that you get the election results from established media or check the website of the Bundeswahlleitung. You can see the URL here. And then, last but not least, be skeptical if you find emotionally triggering posts on the internet. Check the domain or accounts to find out if you are falling for a manipulation attempt from the inside or from the outside. And this again is me, Christian Kramp, Georgia Tech dropout, EMBA from Quantic School of Business Technology in DC, Bielefeld University Social Science, and Corporate Finance Institute in Canada. And thank you for watching. Again, go and vote. And then, if you like, subscribe and see you soon. Bye.